One. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Larry James. My company is Speak with Larry, no spaces. And today we have a guest by the name of Vaughn Bridges Griggs Laws. I know that's a mouthful, right? She's a lead consultant at Griggs Safety Consultant. She's also what's called an adjunct instructor, a compliance trainer, and even a public speaker. So I'd like to welcome Vaughn to the show. Welcome, Vaughn.
Thank you, Larry, for having me. How's it going with you?
It's going great. It's going great. I was really kind of interested in what exactly an adjunct instructor is.
That means that we're part-time. We're not full-time professors. We're part-time.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
What is Griggs Safety? What does that entail?
So we have a safety and health consulting company, and what we do is provide services, training, audits, inspections for companies. So we're a B2B service.
Right.
And the ultimate goal is to prevent fatalities and injuries and illnesses in the work center.
Got you, got you.
Right.
Is that something that you have kind of have a passion for, or you just kind
Oh,
of?
absolutely. Absolutely. I began my career in safety many years ago while serving with the United States Air Force. And while I did not intend to do it after my military retirement, it followed me.
Ah, okay. So you did that in the middle. That's where you got the skill, actually.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. And you were in the Air Force?
Yes.
All right, great. My son was in the Air Force. He had,
Right. I say we are the premier branch of our armed forces. Not
uh,
many people agree, but hey, I say it's the premier branch.
well, I believe it's the intelligent branch. I'll say that. Because he was stationed in Japan, and they would fly him back and forth from Japan to the United States just to take classes. I was like, wow, how would they doing that? You know what I mean? Like you'd be like a course. You stay here like 3 months and then go back.
Absolutely.
I thought that was impressive.
Absolutely. Yes.
And I think that people that are like, especially young guys that are not really like most young guys don't really have a direction at 17 or 18. I think that's a great place to get, a little grounding, don't you?
I absolutely do. And if I could speak to our legislators, I would petition that everyone serve at a minimum 4 years in one branch of service or the other.
Uh-huh. Did you choose the Air Force because you like that part of the military? Were you familiar with the military?
Well, I was somewhat, but it wasn't my immediate family. My younger brother at that time was serving with the Army. I
Okay.
had a couple older cousins that had served with the Army as well. I did not know what my career would be, but I joined the Air Force because I like to march, and they had a wonderful marching band, and that's what my recruiter told me I would be able to do. So the career went totally opposite of what I desired, but I have no regrets.
Yeah. How many years did you do?
I did a total of 26. I served 20 active, sometime in the Air National Guard,
Hmm.
and then with the Texas State Guard.
Wow, wow. And I'm always impressed when women have like a extended career like that because they didn't used to have that opportunity.
Absolutely.
And now it's like, uh, especially African American women, you guys are like setting the standard right now. I'm like very
Yes, and
impressed.
while, yeah, our population of enlistees continue to grow amongst our females, our homeless population equally is growing along with our male counterparts. So there's some under marginalized opportunities that we still face overall,
Hmm.
but it is slowly improving.
Right, right. Now, as far as like suggesting someone take this type of training, is that something you would suggest?
Well, yeah, most employers have a requirement. It's the law, it's compliance law.
Hmm.
So, regardless of which industry, it could be medical, hospitality, manufacturing, uh, any industry has a requirement that employees understand the risk in their work center and
Okay.
how to prevent incidents and accidents and property damage from taking place. So any employer with 10 or more employees by law are required to provide training and education.
Oh, okay, okay. Interesting. That's it. And you being a B2B, you get a chance to kind of access or get to know a lot of different organizations, right?
Yes, we are multifaceted. So we service from daycare centers to oil and gas industry.
Wow, interesting. That seems like that would be exciting, especially if you're kind of like a people person, and you know your game, you know what you do, right? So they don't. Do you find that most people you have conversations with know almost zero about what it is you're sharing?
It varies. It absolutely varies. So, no day is the same.
Uh-huh.
There are multiple courses that we provide training for, different curriculums per industry. Most curriculum is the basic awareness, but beyond that, it varies. So, like this past week, I was training employees that are assigned to companies from the fire department to construction to pipeline to manufacturing. Those were the population of students I had this week.
Hmm.
I had one gentleman, he's only been in safety 2 months. The most tenured person was 18 years. So it absolutely does vary.
Right, right, right. So, um, that's something that I like about the business aspect of being an entrepreneur is that especially when you own your own business. That's I believe everyone should own their own business, whether it's selling candy out of a candy house, that you make, or whatever, some way to generate a extra income, because I believe we were all supposed to have our own businesses, because what happens when the person that is you're working for fires you, or they go out of business, then you have to go and start over, right?
Absolutely. And that is something that my father instilled in us at a very young age. He was a jack of all trades, master of none, but he always had outside jobs, always,
Right.
always, 6, 7 days a week. While he worked for the city of St. Louis in Missouri, he was always painting homes or working on vehicles, hauling off,
Right.
cleaning out someone's garage, cutting down trees. So he would always tell us, be able to do something with your hands. If a
Right.
job is taking away laws, you're able to do something with your hands. And oftentimes we would have sidewalk barbecues because that was something that we could all do was cook,
Right.
and there was always someone in the neighborhood driving by would smell the smoke coming from the barbecue pit, and whether they were hungry or not, they would stop and support our little operation. So yeah, absolutely, there should definitely be a multiple stream of incomes, something that you ownership of that no one could take away from you.
Right. But and I don't know how old you are, but I know when I was coming through high school, they had things like woodwork, auto mechanics, metal work, things like that, that
Hmm.
you could take that, you could learn that skill. And once you learn that skill, you can, like your father, you could always make a living, you could always make a little money. But they took that out and incorporated the college, where you got to pay astronomical money for college. And then when you get
Hmm.
out, you got a even bigger astronomical debt, and you can't find a job.
Yes, and there are some schools around the country that are starting that migration back. One benefit that I have is that I travel internationally. You said your son was in Japan and coming back stateside. Over the last 2 years, I've been back to Japan, Okinawa specifically, to provide training to our military and civilian counterparts.
Okay.
Some schools, educators are getting that ideal that those programs, vocational education is very important. And I believe they were always important. Our leaders, those that were over departments of education, determined that collegiate experience was necessary. Well, I can tell you, traveling all over the country, working in multiple industries, that's not necessarily the best ideal, because many individuals never have a desire to learn academia. They are creators. And when you're a creator, you want to work with your hands. You dream about seeing something coming to manifestation and intuition. So that is so necessary that vocational is picked back up. And then I'm probably around the age group that you are, and my skill set coming through junior high school and high school was home economics.
Okay, yeah.
I wanted to cook and sew. Yeah, I wanted to cook and sew.
I had no desire for that, but I had to take that course. But I needed it because, I don't, to this day, I don't even cook like that. But, I can imagine people who enjoy cooking, like I also believe that when you, especially now, and that's what my company teaches, is especially now, this is the best time to, one, identify what your passion is and begin to work within that, because that's where you find the success and the joy that you seek in life, because you're not working you're not like doing it for money, even though you are doing it for money, you'd start off not having money as an objective, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes, I totally agree. I believe whatever we get up to do every day must first be enjoyable.
Right, right.
And that passion will lead you to serve others, whether you're getting paid or not. You enjoy it just that much. So it's not the drudgery of, oh, I have to go to work, I hate that job. No,
Right.
this is something that I get to create, I get to offer this service, and I get to enjoy it because it's something that I absolutely, honestly enjoy, regardless to who I'm serving it to. I absolutely enjoy it.
Right. And not only that, it allows you to become what I like to call an expert at what you do, right? Because
Mhm.
if you, that's how you become an expert, is repetition. You do it over and over and over and over and over, you're going to get better. You're going to get better. You can count on that. And then the thing about life that I've observed is that in order to become an expert, it really doesn't require that much because most people aren't doing anything. You know what I'm saying? So if I wanted to learn a new skill today, I could, and within 90 days, I could learn that skill and be like 80% smarter than most people that in that area. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't do that. People don't
It's
apply.
simply because, yeah,
Go ahead.
right. Simply because they're not applying. Yes, simply because they don't apply themselves. They don't take the time. I tell you, if Google and Wikipedia and YouTube had been around for me 15, 20 years ago,
Right.
oh my word, there would be no limit. And so now you don't have to spend a whole lot. I mean, you can go on YouTube and get tutorials for any and everything.
Free. Free. No cost. Only requires your
Yes,
time.
yes,
And that's what I love about it because
yes. Time and the willingness. Yes, yeah,
but
time and willingness to learn.
But if you able to, and see, a lot of people can't identify what their passion is. And I understand that to a point, but you have to go to what I call that second level of feeling about yourself to identify what you like, right? And then if you can't identify it there, one of the systems that I use to help people try to identify what that is I ask them to imagine walking into a library, right? If you walked into a library, what section kind of pulls you in that direction? Is it home and garden? Is it technology? Is it law? What section kind of makes you want to go learn more about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That tells you something about
Mm-hmm.
who you are and what you need, because you just have to have a starting point. And then once you begin the process, then that's when doors start to open. Because I like to paint the picture that before you start, it looks like everything is a wall. All you see is a wall. But once you start to gain more knowledge
Mm-hmm.
about what it is you're studying, you start to actually see doors now instead of just walls. Those doors lead to something in other people, right?
Yeah, that's a good analogy. I like that. I never considered it that way. Enter in the library and everything appears to be a wall. But as you get closer in on the section, you see where they and how they are divided, and then which sections are you drawn to. I like that analogy.
No, no,
That's
no.
very powerful.
But that's not the way it goes. When you enter the library, whichever section that your DNA kind of pulls you to, then that's where you should
Uh-huh.
begin studying, gaining the knowledge about. Let's say it was bowling. Then I started studying bowling. As the more I studied bowling, what appeared to be a wall initially begins to be doors that begin to show themselves, right?
Yeah,
Like that, because
right. I like
knowledge is
that.
the key. Once you gain that knowledge, then you're able to go through doors that, like I say before, just look like a wall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
And you know, one of the things that I'm like is my second love. My first love is small business, but my second love is personal development. I believe we should work on our personal development every day of our lives. You know, add something mentally, physically, and spiritually every day of your life. You need to add more, add more, add more, and then the way you actually receive this. I'm 62. I'm gonna tell my age. I'm 62. So the way you actually receive, based on my experience, is to give. Just constantly give. Just constantly give. Constantly give. The Bible says you can't give more than me. So if I just constantly give with the good intent, then everything that I seek will be available to me. You know, that's the way I believe, because I'll start to receive, you know, because of the way things are set up in the universe, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is an age-old principle. That's another mentality. Give and it shall be given. Down shall men give into your bosom. Absolutely. Now, what you did not see on LinkedIn bio is that I'm also an ordained minister and a life coach.
Oh, okay. I sure didn't see that.
You did on LinkedIn.
You're kind of breaking up a little bit.
Yes, I said no. You did not see that on LinkedIn.
Oh, right. No, I didn't see that on there. But you know,
Uh-huh. No, I
we
don't
all
have
have
that on.
attributes.
I don't have it.
Go ahead.
Yes, I don't have that on my professional page.
But I'm sure you do have it someplace, right?
It's some places. It's on some other literature,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. See,
some other social media. Yeah, it's enough. I don't even have a LinkedIn account for my nonprofit. We're working on that literally as we speak. I just sent information over to a virtual assistant because she's like, bring that up. And I told you I didn't need to make, or didn't not really see a need to make that visible until the pandemic.
right.
While you're active in ministry, there wasn't a need for me to publicize ministry because I was, active in a weekly ministry, doing something somewhere over outreach, in reach, so there wasn't a need. But now, since the pandemic and being pushed to webinar online platforms such as you and I use Zoom, and even with my life coaching, um, people were asking me like, okay, we go to your website and we can find you there, but you need a LinkedIn account. And so I literally on Monday
Uh-huh.
hired a virtual assistant to bring that page up.
Oh, okay. Good, good. And see, that's another thing.
Amazing.
And that's another thing. Once you the reason you were able to do that is because you learned to gain the knowledge that was necessary. Now,
Yes.
there's two ways you could do that. You could do it organically by doing it yourself, or you can hire somebody. And that just depends on whether you have the resources. If you don't have the money, that just means you have to do it yourself. You know, but it's doable, and it's not like rocket science. But once you get it up, just like with anything else, you're going to make mistakes along the way. You just have to understand that part of it. That's part of gaining the knowledge that's necessary. And once you get it up, then you can add, take away, add, and take away. One of the things I do, my system is based on videos. Videos are my primary source of creating content. You know, online, you should have a three-prong approach. You should have videos, a podcast, and you should have the written word, which is blogs, right? Because some people like to read, some people like to watch videos, some people like to listen while they're at the gym. So once you create those three arms, then you're actually reaching a different level of audiences. But initially, you just want to start with the one that you enjoy most. Which one of those do you think that would be for you?
Oh, definitely live, just like this.
Oh, you like that better?
Zoom or by phone. Absolutely. I am a connector. And so while I have authored books, I am on the process of my third authorship. Blogging is not something I thoroughly enjoy. And as I said, I need to get up every day rejoicing and being happy about what I offer in service and enjoy it.
Me too.
I don't necessarily enjoy blogging. Blogging to me is like that English teacher giving me a 5-page essay to write. But allow me to speak it,
Yeah.
and I'll show up and execute.
Right, me too.
Don't ask me to put it on paper.
But you know, the thing about life is that as you get older, especially with the handle you can have with the control that's going on with our lives today, like it's never been easier to do it from home. You know, we usually have to go out and do things, you know, time is money, you know, you really have to spend all that time doing that. But nowadays you can create everything from the comfort of your own home.
Absolutely.
And that's a beautiful thing,
Absolutely.
because
And I'm loving it.
technology is not going any place.
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm loving it. It took me a while to buy into it, especially on the education part, because I wasn't a big supporter of online training. I just wasn't.
Okay.
But you know, with the right delivery, with the right support services beneath it, it definitely does have an advantage. So I'm more Zoom meetings this last 3 months. Oh my goodness. May and June, I was so overwhelmed. I can't believe I'm doing this. By nature, I am not an administrator. I don't enjoy sitting for long periods of time. So even learning in the chat and going to a room, it has all been a very, very tedious learning experience for me. But then once I'm in it, the flow starts to happen, and I am now embracing it.
Right, right. You're starting to understand it. See, there's, like I tell people all the time, whatever you decide to do, there's a language that's spoken within that. And if you don't know that language, you have to learn that language first. That's like if you think about football. If I bring somebody from Japan to the United States to play football, they can't just go out there and play football if they've never seen football. They have to understand which way to run or what matters, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
In order to be effective. And life is like that too. You gotta pay a close attention to opportunities, because opportunities come to us all the time, you know. But because of our lack of understanding or lack of knowledge, we can't identify them as an opportunity. You know, sometimes we look at that as a threat because someone has an opportunity that would change your life, but it's going to require you to do some work, you know. And that's one of the things that we have the most problem with, is sticking to something. I was talking to another guy on a Zoom interview, and he was telling me he's a numbers guy, right? And I like to listen to people that are good with numbers, because I'm not really like an expert. I like numbers, but I like to have someone else do my numbers. But if he said he was real good at numbers, and he said that when someone starts something, he says whatever they start, based on the 80-20 rule, 20% of what they do is going to bring them the majority of their revenue. And he says when someone starts something, 98%, everybody who stops are 98% close to getting it right before they stop. Does that make sense? Like,
it does.
if you start something, you're right at the door and you'll stop and say, well, this is not working, and go and do something else.
Well, yeah, because it's easy to get overwhelmed. I'm just a couple years behind you, honestly speaking, Mr. Larry. I didn't want to learn anything else new. I had, so I had a little pushback. I thought, we're going to get through this a lot sooner than what the universe is now telling us is our reality. And I says, okay, you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to do it, or you'll be left behind with your competitors in the industry. You got to do it. And so I had to jump in with both feet. And one of the major things with me, I don't have a problem asking for help. I don't have a problem asking for help. Yeah. I'm not trying to do it all. I don't want to learn all the protocols. I don't want to know just tell me what SEO is, but I don't want to learn the back end of that. I'm not that technically inclined, nor do I desire to be, but if you can get me to understand why it's necessary and how it's going to benefit, and I'm good. So I did a lot of asking what do I absolutely need? The travel ban is on, so I'm not able to travel to my clients. My clients are not able to travel to us. How do I develop this? Where do I get my curriculum to fit an online portal or platform? So I did a lot of asking why. And my God, there's so many programs, Zoom, WebEx, GoToMeeting. Now I just learned last week, Microsoft Teams. I was invited to a meeting and they said, well, Microsoft Teams. Oh, you mean to tell me I have to download something else? And I have to read that and learn that too? Really? So it's really pushing me again to embrace the change, and understanding is necessary, but I'm gravitating to change with technology a lot better than I'm a lot better today than I was in April. I'll just say that.
Well, that's great. Better. That's great, because I was just getting ready to say, you don't want to let it overwhelm you, because it will overwhelm you really quickly. And see, most of my clients are what we call baby boomers. I like to access people that are kind of computer illiterate, because this system is really simple. And once I explain it to you, and you can screen share some things as you're sharing nowadays, and people can just follow that. And as they follow that, it doesn't get any easier than that. I'm on my computer, you're on your computer, you're watching your computer, and I'm doing this, and then you do the same thing. And then you just repeat that process and you get comfortable with it. But don't try to learn too many, because see, there are too many things out there. Don't try to and they will pull you this way, and people will tell you you need this and you need that. That's why I say you have to understand that world that you're in, because it has a language. Yes. Like my system doesn't really require all that. You can use just like your cell phone. You got a lot of things on your cell phone you don't use because you don't need them, but they're there. And someone that knows the cell phone could come in and just do whatever they want to with it to make something else work. But all you need to know is what you need to know to make your system work. So that's why you have to talk to people that are knowledgeable about what you do, that have an online system. You see what I'm saying? You don't want to just, because people will take your money. You know what, the business world is kind of cutthroat. If you don't, one of my favorite phrases is this. I always remember this. When a man with money meets a man with experience, the man with money is going to walk away with experience, and the man with experience going to walk away with money. So you always keep that in mind when you just, because there's a language that's spoken, and if I share 2 or 3 things with you and you don't give me the right response, I know you don't know what you're asking for. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna call in reserves. Hey, we got one. we gonna raise the price on this one.
Because they don't know, right?
That's
So
right.
because they're not knowledgeable, yeah. But you know, you said something that was really worth giving emphasis to, because again, I was asking what's necessary. I was looking at my competitors and what are they doing? What is this? How much is that going to cost me over a period of time? Where might there be a return on investment? Now pushing it out to market, you know, what's going to set me up beyond where they are, or at least close to where they are? What's going to get me seen on these social platforms? What's going to be the driving factor? And I came away with the idea, for me, it was going to be best to become an affiliate. I wasn't in the place to invest money to the total recreating or creating it all over again. You know, it was easier and wiser for me to become an affiliate to programs that were already profitable,
Right.
than to recreate the wheel per se.
Absolutely. Not only that, but you don't want to put your money where your mind isn't. You don't know enough about that. So
Yeah.
your money's gonna get consumed if you put your money where you don't put your mind. They're gonna eat your money up because you don't know if they're doing right or if they're doing wrong. And they can keep telling you things that make it sound good, but all along you're not getting any results. You have to be able to understand analytics, like what kind of growth you're getting, you know, for your dollar when you're putting your money in there. That's why I like to show my clients how totally organic. You're not paying for nothing as far as, you know, online courses or things like that. But looks like we're coming up on that bewitching hour. I like to, you know, kind of keep it like 30 minutes or low because, you know, I like to keep everything at a level pace. But it's been a joy talking to you, and I love talking to you again. What state are you located in?
I am in Dallas, Texas. So I'm between Dallas, Texas, and the Midwest, St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis is where our nonprofit is housed out of, and that initiative is providing homeless female veterans with permanent housing.
Great, that's a great cause.
Yes.
Very great.
So the nonprofit is the headquarters is in St. Louis for that.
Okay, and the
So I'm in
website?
between Dallas and St. Louis.
Okay, and I'm in Dallas also. Actually, I live in Irving. But what's the website?
We're neighbors.
Yeah, we're neighbors. Uh-huh.
Did you know that?
I did. Well, when you said you were in Dallas, I knew. But
Well, my office is in Irving.
oh, you're really great. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yes.
We're neighbors. Fantastic. So, if you don't mind, would you give the website to your nonprofit or an email address that they could contact you if they're in that situation? Use that system.
Yes. So on the LinkedIn where you found me is the for-profit business. That is Griggs Safety Consultants, Griggs Safety, SAFETY consultants.com. The nonprofit is Joy Restored Outreach, JOYRESTORED outreach.org.
.org.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, again, Vaughn, it's been a pleasure, and we're going to have another face-to-face or another conversation.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to look you up because I believe you're an answer to prayer for me with the services that you provide. So this by no means was it a coincidence.
Great. My website, my brand is Speak with Larry, no spaces, Speak with Larry. That's website, blog, everything is associated. If you go to YouTube, I got like over 900 videos on YouTube. So I'm always accessible with that. I make videos all the time. But
Okay.
before you leave, one of the things I like to always end the show with is, my name is Larry James. My company is Speak with Larry, no spaces. And as always, share with someone else what I've shared. with you. Have a great day, Vaughn. Thanks again.
Thank you. God bless.